Oh, I can
I,
hear her.
I can too.
You,
You can hear me?
you, yes, I can
Yes.
hear you.
Everybody okay? Perfect. Um, Last time we spoke about the view basically of Dzogchen and Mahamudra. And tonight, what I would like to do is talk about how to practice experiencing that, moving in that direction. Now that we have some idea of where we're going, this might help us actually cement how we actually get there. So, engaging in meditation, we discover how we normally perceive the external world, which is predominantly constructed by our mind due to our concepts, our ideas, and conceptual categorization of all kinds. Normally, what we perceive and experience is just a construction of our own mind. It is simply the way things appear to us personally. And if we let our mind be without conceptual categorization of our perceptions, we allow ourselves the opportunity to experience the way things are. I gave the example last time, I think, of you're at a buffet of a foreign foods. You're not really quite familiar with this culture, but you're here at this banquet, which has all of these foreign foods. So usually what we do is we look at the foods and we try to figure out what they taste like. And that's how we choose them. Or if we have some association with a food that kind of looks like that we don't like, we probably will bypass that. So our perceptions play a lot in the choices that we actually make. So we need to just let mind simply be and not block or indulge in them, but simply be present with what we are experiencing. So, how do we undo confusion or behavior patterns? So, in the Buddhist Vajrayana tradition, the methods that we used are sitting meditation and post meditation practice, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. In sitting meditation practice, we use shamatha and vipassana. And sitting meditation practice, basically, you are establishing a connection with your seat, your posture, breath, and labeling technique. You need to be wakeful with a light touch, a balance of precision with a sense of freedom. Posture is so important. Um, if we don't sit properly, our organs are not even in the proper situation. And if when you're doing your shamatha practice, if you notice that you're thinking and you can catch your body where it is, the posture that you have at that point in time with that thought, you will find that when you take that posture, you automatically may have that thought arise. So there's definitely, you give yourself the very best chance of keeping a non-biased mind or a clear mind by maintaining posture, but it must not be rigid. It must be relaxed. Um, when you're doing your meditation, at some point, once you have your posture and your breathing, you're going out with the out breath and so forth, it's important to maybe raise your eye gaze and have a sense of the whole environment with the breath happening within that space. Um, Usually, how we differentiate between shamatha and vipassana is that when you're doing shamatha, it's concentrated to you, aware of your breath, and then ignoring the in breath, going out with the out breath 360 degrees, filling the space completely. And then experiences come and go. Um, we'll just let it be with that. So within boredom, and it's interesting. My meditation center is in a art gallery. So needless to say, when we do walking meditation, the distractions that you have, because your mind just goes in all different directions. Um, so we had to kind of look at that and kind of change that a little bit. But if you don't have boredom in the Zen tradition, that's one of the reasons they have um, blank wall. You sit in front of a blank wall because the least distraction that you have, the more ability you have to be able to recognize the natural state, be in the space that you're sitting in, the space that this room is in, that you are in, never leaving that space, always being there. When thoughts arise, you recognize that the thoughts are arising but you're not swept away. And that's the best chance you have of not being swept away is because you have nothing else. You can just concentrate on that. If you have a lot of thoughts or a lot of activity happening, your mind's going in all different directions. So boredom is really important. Um, so with boredom, we can actually watch our mental habits play themselves out. One takes a non-judgmental attitude of exploration toward the qualities of feelings. You're not, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this. Oh, I shouldn't be doing that. No, no, there's no judgment. It is what it is. Whatever it is what it is. There's no comment, no evaluation. You just let it be whatever it is. We must move on, recognize, let go, and dissolve. So with sitting practice, if we did 1 hour a day, if possible, it's recommended at least a few times a week if you can't do 1 hour a day, and consistency is important. With meditation practice, you are neither for or against your experience. You don't praise some thoughts and condemn others. It's an unbiased approach. There are no good or bad thoughts. They are all thoughts. So you express your existence directly, non-conceptually, not for or against you. In the process of losing awareness, you regain it because of the process of losing it. Slipping in itself corrects itself. And this is known in Buddhism as echo. The minute that you're aware that you weren't there, you're now there. So they refer to it as an echo. Tralig Kyabgyon Rinpoche, quote, we should practice non-discriminative yoga because when we do not discriminate, we allow experiences to arise rather than creating our experiences habitually. So there's several little methods that are given to kind of to reinforce your shamatha and vipassana practice, your function of boredom. The first is to create a simple practice to perceive the transparent quality of thoughts and emotions, and that's what shamatha and vipassana are. So then at some point, you're going to use what they use the example of logs on fire. So you drop into your body, you notice what's happening in the body, you're aware of the ember. For instance, when you see something or someone, and a faint tension in your chest, shoulders, or face starts to tighten. That's the ember. And then you experience judgmental or resentment about the person. Your logs have caught fire, but it can still be contained. If you continue escalating the storyline, now you've thrown kerosene on the fire. So at every moment, we have two alternatives. We can escalate or de-escalate. So meditation practice makes us more aware of what is happening in our mind. Emotions need preoccupation to survive, And mind cannot exist without emotions. It's too boring. So, continuing on with this path, you bring your attention to where you are right now. You stay with the energy without acting out or repressing. You notice how your body is feeling, pains, aches, sensations of heat and cold, places where you are tight or relaxed. What kind of mood are you in? What emotion do you notice? It's important to have an attitude of curiosity and openness rather than judgment. Don't push too hard. Where are you right now? Be kind. Be willing to feel some discomfort. This is coming from Sopni Rinpoche. Emotions as a path of awakening is based on simply letting the emotion be, just as it is. Don't suppress or be carried away. Relate to their basic substance. Seeing emotions as they are is the practice of shunyata, emptiness. Emotions are seen through. This is the ultimate practice of nonviolence, no good or bad. And then you have a slightly different path, but pretty much the same. It's called the lion's roar. The lion's roar refers to any state of mind is workable. That's the lion's roar. So we must respect whatever happens in our state of mind. Chaos is good news. I remember when Trungpa Rinpoche first said that, chaos is good news. And when you think about it, what he was pointing to is that chaos shows us where our boundaries are. You get to a certain point, and then all of a sudden you're not quite sure, and things are kind of going every which way and so forth. So you begin to discover this is my boundary here, this is my boundary here, and so forth. Stages relating with emotions like seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, transmuting. Seeing is accepting as a pattern of mind. You see that you're getting excited here. There's a little something starting to happen. So you're beginning to recognize, oh, okay, something's starting here. Hearing, you experience the pulsation of energy, the upsurge as it comes toward you. You just had a fight yesterday with this person, and here they are coming toward you. So you're beginning to feel the pulsation of that energy as they're moving towards you. Smelling, appreciating that the energy is somewhat workable. Touching, feeling the nitty-gritty of the whole thing, can touch and relate that you can do that you can touch and relate to this energy that is now coming toward you. There's a sense of confidence here. It's coming, and you're going to be involved with it. You're going to receive this exposure, this connection, whatever happens. Transmutation, going through the fear, let yourself be in the emotion, go through it, give into it, experience it. So you're right there. I remember Rinpoche one time saying, when you first start out and you start doing this particular approach, there's fear and anxiety. Oh, what's going to happen? This is coming towards me. What is this? So you're there. And then at some point, if you do this enough, he said, what happens is it kind of flips and it goes to, oh, let's see what's going to happen now. Let's see what's coming up and so forth. So you have a completely different um, attitude or feeling about what is coming. That's coming, of course, from your confidence and because you've done it enough where you're actually facing those fears that are arising for you. And then we have the four foundations of mindfulness, which all Buddhists are familiar with. And the first one is with body mindfulness. So there's a sense of groundedness. The psychosomatic body has a sense of being. The best technique is working with the breath and the out breath. In other words, when you're breathing, that's your direct body feeling. You are breathing in and you are breathing out. That's happening with your whole body. So that's body mindfulness, being aware of that. Life mindfulness makes meditation personal and intimate, touch and go. You are there, present and mindful, and then you let go. Confidence, openness are necessary. In other words, you're going to be willing to step into that situation with that person, and then you're going to let go and open, and then you're going to see what happens. So the go doesn't mean that you yourself leave or go from the situation. It means that you are in it without further analysis and reinforcement. So that openness is what you have now stepped into. That's why you let go, open, and then you relate genuinely. But of course, that takes confidence. So mindfulness brings clarity, skill, and intelligence. And from the experience of the framework of intense psychosomatic confusion, we experience the real body. We are simply tuning into what is already happening instead of protecting anything further. You are tuning in directly to your process of life. The process is the essence of here and now. You are responding without any implications or motives. That's your genuineness. Mindfulness means allowing yourself to be there in the very moment of what is happening in your living process and then letting go. So if we look at, this is the third foundation of mindfulness, effort mindfulness, and this is where the lion's roar directly is applied. Anything that occurs in the samsaric mind is regarded as path. Everything is workable. So recognize that working with emotions is the path to awakening. An unshakable confidence comes from this experience. You are willing to be awake in whatever situation presents itself. A problem arises only if you try to manipulate a situation to your advantage or ignore it. Then you are violating your relationship of trust with the phenomenal world. The practice of refraining requires a mindful gap before we speak or act. Refraining, not doing something. Somebody says something and you don't want to do that. So that gap, that kind of stepping back, giving a little space, and then coming forth before you speak or act. We try to contact its energy directly and intimately, know its essence, not just with conceptual mind. We come to experience it as a form of wakeful energy, and it loses its power to disturb us. This is a direct path to enlightenment. The fourth foundation of mindfulness, mind mindfulness, is being watchful rather than watching something. It is intelligent alertness rather than the mechanical business of simply observing what happens. There is a sense of light-handedness. And Rinpoche gave us the example of hide and seek. You're playing hide and seek. So there you are, hiding, and you're listening. You're alert. You're listening to see if the person is coming near to where you are. So you're there, you're relaxed, but you're listening. And that is the example of how you are watchful. Um, it's not I'm watchful, I'm watching, I'm watching. It's back, relaxed, but listening, watching. Nowness, a little dot, one dot at a time, One shot reality is all there is. Everything happens only once. Oh, that's it. That's gone. New moment. Brand new moment. Right here, right now. Up, that's gone. Next moment. Always new. Always happening. Two things can happen at once. Conflicts that arise from mind are regarded as a necessary part of the process of mindfulness. At the same time, conflicts have to be controlled enough so we can come back to mindfulness of breathing. There is a balance of not being lost in daydreams, nor missing the freshness and openness from not holding attention too tightly. This is wakefulness, mindfulness. Mindfulness of mind is being with your mind. You are there. If you realize that you are not there, you are there. And that's the echo that we were talking about earlier. Mindfulness is the act and the experience happening at the same time. I believe last time I gave the example of I'm making a soup and I say, "Here, please taste this. See if it needs more salt." And you take it and you taste, and that split second, the minute that you taste, then the second moment is where the commentary comes in. Oh, it needs salt, it doesn't need salt, da da da. But that's why the senses are so important, because we get an immediate reaction that is pure based on we're experiencing it. We're in that experience. We have to feel it, touch it, see it, hear it, smell it. And then the next moment, all of our habitual prejudices, perceptions, and so forth come into it. Oh, I like it, I don't like it, da 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 da. Oh, it's this or that. But that first experience is the experience of our natural essence, of the Buddha nature, your primal purity. That is the moment where there's no judgment, no anything. It's the experience itself that is the key. Trungpa Rinpoche's quote, "You just do it without absolutely no implication behind what you are doing, not even mindfulness." You're not saying, "Oh, mindful, I'm going to be this." That's where the ego comes in, where you bring in that duality. And with that duality comes all of, oh, the judgments, the evaluations, the critique, and so forth. So it's an open quality, it's an open mind, it's a willingness to experience things for what they are, despite what our previous preconceptions of things are. So in that's the meditative path. Now we're going to talk a little bit about, so now you're off of your formal meditation, now you're out in the world in your daily life. This is post meditation, the warrior's way. So, in the warrior's way, this is also the heart of meditation, Buddhist meditation, because it doesn't end when you're just doing formal practice and then you get up. No, no, it continues you 24/7, no vacations. This is going on. Your awareness then just takes another form. Instead of sitting and having the contemplation, the continuity of that reinforcement of watching your mind, being aware and awake and open, now your attention and your awareness is in how you live your life, everything that you do. So the first step in this process of the warrior's way is your commitment and discipline, because psychological change is required or habitual patterns continue. So your life is the practice of meditation. You simplify everything down to the immediate present practice of what one is doing, without expectations, without judgments, and without opinions. There is no concept of being involved in a battle of evil or on the side of good. One is fully with the present moment. And I think last time I gave the example of dancing, like the tango or the waltz, where you have a partner and you take a step and they take a step, and based on whatever steps are being taken, that communication is instantaneous. It's in the moment. If you're not paying attention, then you're stepping all over everybody's feet and vice versa. So that openness to what's coming back to you, how you're receiving that, that's where your communication is coming from. That's what real communication is. Otherwise, you have your own agenda and you're just going on about it and you're not even paying attention to what is being understood or not understood. You're just doing your thing. So there should be no feeling of striving to reach some exalted goal or higher state. This produces something conditioned and artificial, and that will act as an obstruction to the free flow of the mind. In other words, it's like the minute you have, oh, I did that so well, ego. And minute you start looking at things from, oh, I can do this, all of a sudden, that attitude, that energy of seeing things from the point of view of me, mine, I, you recognize ego. And it's so fantastic. Once you begin to see it, it's like you almost have to laugh at, oh, okay, I get it. And then you can drop it. You can just let go of it and recognize it for what it is. You don't have to let it color or reinforce your point of view coming from that direction, because if you do, that is not enlightenment. That is more duality. So, so the warrior's path is the discipline of fearlessness in recognizing fear when it arises and not turning away from it. You are looking into your state of mind. We face forward, going into and through the fear, giving birth to warriorship. And that's why it's called warrior, because it's not a war that you're giving and that you're getting ready to strike. The war is in your fear, that you're facing that. You're rising to the occasion to actually deal with that fear. So we learn to recognize first thought or direct experience, the soup, direct experience, and second thought, the conceptual elaboration on the direct experience. And so fear has many faces. And if you turn away now, one thing about fear is that it doesn't go away. Even if the thing that you're afraid of goes away, another time will come, somebody else will come that will create the same situation. It never goes away. It will always reappear. It's always there. So when you face it, that's when you have an opportunity to dissolve it completely. So fear has many faces: old age and death, abrupt fear, panic from new situations. Fear can manifest in the form of restlessness, hides in things we need to do, in the person we have to see and feel uncomfortable with, in that meeting we have to arrange and keep putting off. It exists in hesitations and doubts, anything unfamiliar and strange to our experience. We always move towards the familiar. And that with example back of the unfamiliar foods. We always move towards what's comfortable. And it's like an automatic reaction almost. Oh, I like this. I'll just do this. And that's in the Bardo. We have to, if we can learn that, well, that's a whole other conversation. So we have strategies to take our mind off of fear. We use tranquilizers, magazines, shopping, entertainment, all of those things we use to avoid not dealing with the uncomfortable moments or wanting entertainment or just being bored and wanting to kill that. So Quote from Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche: "Fearlessness is not jumping off a cliff. Fearlessness is in conjunction with accuracy and knowing the process of how to respond to the phenomenal world by means of our sense perceptions, our mind, which is our wisdom, our knowing, and our sense of GES, Great Eastern Sun." And Great Eastern Sun basically is decorum, upliftedness, eloquence. Um, it's like if you're going to have a dinner party or invite friends over, um, you want to present not that you have to have a lot of money or be rich, but you want to present the best that you can. And so usually there's no dirty dishes in the sink and everything is set aside for your guests and so forth. Um, so decorum, having an environment that is respectful, uh, where people can relax but feel special, uplifted, and so on. That's Great Eastern Sun. So we make a commitment to ourselves to hold our spot and face our fear if possible. What happens from there is dependent on how skillful we have learned to be. Attempting to be genuine is enough to show us our fear. You find yourself going to a dinner party or an event, maybe a work event, and you find that you're sitting at a table and you're the only one with your point of view. Everybody else feels differently. We could use the example of politics in our society today. And you want to be genuine. You don't want to pretend to be something that you're not. And so you have to face how skillful you can be and the fear of not setting everybody off in different directions. So being genuine, you get to recognize your fear and fears, I could say, quite rapidly. Experiencing the fear, not the cowardice, allows the breakthrough from the cocoon of habitual patterns. So now you have some freshness coming in. Whoa, my goodness. So the role of Dzogchen meditation is practiced in order to bring forth what is latent or hidden in our subconscious or unconscious. It is used to bring forth what is already there. These emotions, prejudices, attitudes, and disturbances have a direct or indirect effect on our lives. And as long as one is right there in the presence of one's emotional state, then one is in a meditative state. Mental events and activities need to be assimilated rather than pushed aside, judged, or proliferated. Meditation is related to not getting distracted and becoming vulnerable and subjected to states of mind of depression and elation. Whatever we experience is part of meditation. It does not matter if the mind is disturbed or at ease. Both of these states of mind are part of the meditative experience. So there should be no censorship of any kind as to what one is allowed to experience or what one is allowed to think with bare awareness present, a necessary requirement within self-realization. One does not have to turn away from the senses. When the mind fixates and has attachment for certain experiences, it seeks further stimulus and perpetuation of excitement, resulting in agitation of the mind. The cause is not because of the senses, but the way the mind apprehends things. One can taste something and simply rest in that particular experience. Senses can be used as modes to develop bare awareness, spiritual practice, not in terms of renunciation or transformation. The aim of Dzogchen is to remain in the natural state. One is no longer working with emotions or trying to do anything specific. The aim is to remain in the natural state, in the ocean, as we talked about last time, in your basic essence, to remain there, never to lose that awareness of your basic essence and the thoughts and emotions that are on the top of the ocean that are moving about. You never lose the awareness of the ocean. You're always there. The ocean is always there, always present, never gone. So the aim is to remain in the natural state. To do anything is interfering with the natural state. Dzogchen practice is designed to unconceal or reveal one's true condition by recognizing that one has certain undesirable characteristics and possesses varieties of uncontrolled passions. Instead of suppressing or ignoring these discrepancies, the first step is acknowledgement. One must recognize what is undesirable: suppressed feelings, contrived ideas, emotional disturbances. There is no need to renounce, purify, or transform anything. One is simply trying to understand how things are and how they exist as they are. It is not a process of rectification in order to gain spiritual awakening. It does not matter whatever dramatic emotional upheavals one is experiencing. What is important is to remain with whatever state of mind appears, calm or agitated. Agitation is not regarded as regression, but as part of the process itself. One is not cultivating or discarding a particular state of mind. There is no difference whether the mind is at rest or active and agitated. This is referred to as one-pointedness. Pauses, gaps in body, speech, and mind are the experience of our basic being. When we get, huh? You're back now, out of the mind thought. Now, what? You're here. You're in the present moment. So those pauses and gaps are your basic essence, in essence, because what? Two types of mental states: rest and movement. Simply sit and be aware. Rest with your thoughts. Our practice should be effortless. We should avoid trying too hard and getting too worked up. To confront what arises in the mind openly is a heroic approach. You're not running away. You're relating. You're willing to be there. Doesn't mean you have to do anything. You're just willing to be there and see that, acknowledge that. That's all that's being asked of you. Quote from Chöling Rinpoche, quote, "We should practice non-discriminative yoga because when we do not discriminate, we allow experiences to arise rather than creating our experiences habitually." And then the Dalai Lama, "Feel the feeling, but don't become the emotion. Witness it, allow it, release it." Eckhart Tolle, "Rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them." And then there's a series of quotes that I felt were important that I thought might help give us a little bit more clarity. This is coming from Chagdud Tulku Rinpoche. To understand how delusion arises, practice watching your mind. Begin by simply letting it relax. without thinking of the past or the future, without feeling hope or fear about this thing or that. Let it rest comfortably, open and natural. In this space of the mind, there is no problem, no suffering. Then something catches your attention, an image, a sound, a smell. Your mind splits into inner and outer, self and other, subject and object. In simply perceiving the object, there is still no problem. But when you zero in on it, you notice that it's big or small, white or black, square or circular, and then you make a judgment, for example, whether it's pretty or ugly. Having made that judgment, you react to it. You decide you like it or don't like it. That's when the problem starts, because I like it leads to I want it. We want to possess what we perceive to be desirable. Similarly, I don't like it leads to I don't want it. If we like something, want it, and can't have it, we suffer. If we don't want it but can't keep it away, again we suffer. Our suffering seems to occur because of the object of our desire or aversion, but that's not really so. It happens because the mind splits into object-subject duality and becomes involved in wanting or not wanting something. And then we have His Eminence Chogi Trikchen Rinpoche, Nangwan Khenrub Tubten Lekshe Gyatso. He lived 1920 to 2007, and he was the most senior Sakya Lama and the head of the Tsar sub-school of Sakya tradition. His Eminence was a renowned tantric master, a dedicated practitioner, outstanding scholar, eloquent poet, and embodied the wisdom, spirit, and activities of the Dharma. His Eminence was a master of masters, as most Tibetan Buddhist lineage holders are his disciples. Amongst these disciples are His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, and His Holiness the 41st Sakya Trichin, Ngawang Kunga. His Eminence was regarded as the definitive authority on the Kalachakra Tantra. And so this is basically his little talk, and it was so clear. It was just brings it right down to the basics, really. Awareness can cut through thoughts, cannot be broken, harmed, or disturbed by thoughts, the ocean. The nature of mind is compared to the middle of space. While it is empty like space, it has clarity and knowing, unlike physical space, which does not know anything. As we learn to let go of grasping and fixation, which tie down and narrow our experience of the view, our recognition expands. Then he gives a quote by Sakya Pandita. In between two thoughts, an unbroken continuity of clear luminosity. Then he goes on to discuss that. When the last thought has passed, but the next thought has not yet arisen, there is a gap, a thought-free state. While this state is free of thought, it is not a blank, unknowing state. There is a knowing aspect that experiences everything. When this is recognized in the thought-free state, it is in reality an unbroken continuity of clear luminosity. Ocean, clear luminosity, unbroken, always there. Once recognized, this continuity of clear luminosity is quickly lost to us, although it always remains. It is lost as we again fall out of the thought-free state and become involved in thinking. So we must apply the meaning of Sakya Pandita's words again and again. We return to the state between two thoughts, recognizing the empty essence of our mind. This thought-free state must be entered without any grasping or clinging to the experience of emptiness. The quality of empty knowing without grasping that remains within the thought-free state needs only to be recognized. Now we must remain with this recognition and not allow ourselves to be distracted by thoughts. When we have become distracted, we again apply the meaning of Sakya Pandita's words. Whatever thought or feeling arises, we must again look into our mind and recognize emptiness. The thought vanishes in the recognition of emptiness. This is a key point of continuing in the practice. This is how we can learn to recognize and begin the practice of sustaining the view. This is the meaning of the practice of view according to the Sakya tradition. It is also the meaning of the great perfection, Dzogpa Chenpo, and the great seal, Mahamudra, Chaja Chenpo. The practice of sustaining the view requires a special kind of diligence. In the beginning, our recognition of emptiness does not last very long because we are quickly distracted and become involved in dualistic thinking. If we do not notice this, we will not return to the view, so we need diligence in attentive presence. Without this kind of diligence, the view will not be sustained. Attentive presence is a combination of mindfulness and watchfulness. Mindfulness means to remember the essence of our mind, which is emptiness. In addition to remembering to recognize emptiness, the clarity aspect of our mind also continues to function by knowing what is going on around us and within our mind. As a function of our clarity, watchfulness notices what is taking place, and so notices when we are distracted or have become involved in thoughts. Then once we have noticed that we have lost mindfulness of the essence, once again our mindfulness returns us to the essence of our mind, shamatha practice. Now we can understand the meaning of the quality of attentive presence necessary for sustaining the view. It is the key point in which to be diligent in our practice of sustaining the continuity of the view. To return to the gap between thoughts, the empty essence of our mind is the aspect of calm abiding, shamatha, shine. To recognize the clear luminosity, which has the quality of thought-free, empty knowing without grasping, is the aspect of clear insight, vipassana. So I want to leave it there for now and take any questions that you might have, and so on.
Lama Rina, you mentioned you said non-discriminative yoga. Can you just explain that a little bit?
Yes, when they use the term yoga, they're talking about meditation, um, which is a form of yoga. There's physical yoga where you go to the gym and so forth or whatever. And then non-discriminative yoga is the yoga of the mind, science of the mind, as Pumla Rinpoche would refer to it. Um, non-discriminative yoga is when the mind is in a state of clarity. In other words, you're sitting in your meditation and you're not going to the verbal discursiveness, evaluation, judgment. You're sitting in open space and nothing is happening. You're just there and aware, and your awareness is there. So you haven't been swept away in thoughts. You're in that space between thoughts, as he was talking about. So non-discriminative yoga is where you have no judgments, no um, evaluations. There's just seeing what is, just being present with what is happening without any kind of evaluation, just being aware, being in the space and having your wisdom and your clarity functioning.
Thank you.
Thank you for the teaching, Lama. I had a question. I've been practicing with visual objects for a long time, and I recognize some of what you talk about as experiences I have had. When you were talking on the topic of boredom, or you brought up the idea of boredom, it sounded like you were talking about someone who was practicing without a visual object. But I think in my practice, when I've achieved a point where I'm calm and settled and my attention has settled on the visual object and it remains undisturbed, would that also qualify as boredom?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, because that's one of the things when we do Tantra, we have visualizations of deities and so forth, right? So you have a visualization. And so if you're using an object as part of your meditation to create that one pointedness, basically bringing the mind to that one point, that's your focus. That's allowing you to remain focused. Mantra is the same thing. When you're using mantra, you're doing the same thing. You're keeping the mind from having all kinds of discursive thoughts and so on. But did that answer your question?
Yeah, basically.
Hmm.
So, all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Lama Rina, there's a question in the chat from Daniel. He says, can you guide us through a 10-minute sit with a few prompts?
Um, a 10 minute, is that what he wants? A 10 minute?
That's what it says in the chat, but I'm sure it'll be okay with whatever
Well,
we come up with.
we should have a time key. Well, I don't have anything to take time with here right now, but we could do it. And if someone wants to do like a little gong or something at the end of it. Now, my question would be, is he talking about just sitting meditation, like how you would go about sitting meditation and so forth? Or
Daniel, can you chime in and help out here?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
yes?
I just got a new microphone. Okay. Uh, yeah, maybe just following the breath and then a way to return back to the breath or some type of experience we can have of what you've been discussing.
Well, it's going to be an individual depending on
Sure.
every person's coming from their own experience and so forth. But we can certainly do that. Does you want to be a timekeeper and do
Yes, my only concern is that a lot of these microphones, they have a noise canceller, so you can't even hear when a gong rings.
oh, I see.
You know what I mean? I mean, I have a
Well,
gong.
you're speaking. You could pretend that you're the gong.
Okay. Great. I will do that.
So
Okay,
for time purpose, I think for Sangha tonight, maybe we can do a 5 minute sit.
that's fine.
Okay.
So we're starting. All right. I would say that the first thing you want to do is to physically make sure that your body is in the right posture. Um, you want to make sure that you're sitting upright and that the your knees are lower than your hips. If you're sitting on a cushion, you want your knees to be lower than your hips. And it's important that the head, as if you had like a string coming out of the very, where the soft part of your head is, the soft, I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyway, you have a string, so it's kind of coming up. So you're not sitting with your chin out like this, out. You're sitting with it kind of in, and your hands are whatever position you want. You can use the mudra, a sitting mudra, or you can put them right on your knees, down, or hands up, however you wish to do that. It's really important that your jaw is not tight, because when you're thinking, it automatically tightens up, as your face will also tighten up. So there's a space between, your mouth can be closed, but there should be a space between your teeth. They should not be together. And your eye gaze should be about, to start out, if you're really agitated or a lot going on, very excitable, then you want to keep your eye gaze low, like at 6 feet in front of you down. Not necessarily looking at, oh, the rug. I see the rug has blue and green and purple. No, 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 just down. And that will help bring you in so that it's contained here. If you find that you're falling asleep or dull, then you want to lift your eye gaze up so that it's in front of you. And also, there are certain practices that you do later on where your eye gaze even is a little above the horizon, depending on whatever practice it is that you're doing. But traditionally, if you're excitable, bring your eye gaze down. If you need to kind of wake up a little bit, bring your eye gaze up. And the instructions I gave tonight is that your eye gaze is basically up and out, and your breath is going out into space. You're ignoring the in-breath, but you're constantly going out with the out breath, and you're dissolving out there 360 degrees. Your breath is filling the room. You're out there. And you're relaxed. Your posture is what it is, but you should not feel with your posture that you're having to maintain this straight thing. You should feel relaxed. You should feel like, I'm upright, I have taken the posture, but I'm totally relaxed in that posture. Your tongue is on the top of your mouth, at the roof of your mouth. And your mouth can be open a little bit if you want, or not. It does not matter. But what's important is that you go out with the out breath, and you just allow the in breath to come in. You don't try to change your breathing. Your breathing will change by itself if you're really, when you start excited, you'll find that if you just take the right posture, sit down, go out with the out breath, that your breathing will change. The breathing, your breath, is the mirror of your mind. So if you have an object that you are using to maintain your awareness to a particular point, and you're using that, okay. If you don't, and you're just letting the breath go into space, that's okay too. Whatever works best for you, that's what you should do. And then you just settle. I remember in the beginning, there was always a little, oh, okay, I have to do this and this and this. And now I just, I get to sit for a whole day, just sit and relax, just be with my breath. So we'll try that for whatever time we have left. Just sit, go out with the out breath, ignore the in breath, and just be there. If thoughts arise, you recognize thinking. This is the only commitment that you must make to yourself during sitting meditation, is that there's no writing poetry. There's no, your commitment is that if a thought arises, You go back to the breath. There are some people that will have a little notepad alongside them where they have to write this down because they'll forget that they write that one word, grocery shopping, da da da. But then your commitment is always during the period of time that you have designated as sitting meditation, whatever that is, your first commitment is back to the breath. The minute you realize you're no longer there.
Thank you. We have reached 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness, I talked too long.
Huh, that's okay. That was good.
Do you want to try? Do you want to try just maybe a couple of minutes and then see if any questions come up based on that? Maybe just 2 minutes?
Can I see a show of hands? Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay, everyone, that was 2 minutes.
Do you have any questions about the sitting meditation part or anything, really?
I have a comment. I had never noticed or never heard about just breathing out into the space. And I think it felt helpful to, rather than me sitting in a room, I felt like my awareness was more encompassing in the room rather than just me sitting in the room. Does that make sense? It's just like I felt more like a part of the space.
Yeah. You're talking about with this particular technique of going out into space?
With the breath, yes.
Yes. Um, Really, the main difference between shamatha and vipassana, that's it. In shamatha, we're more us concerned with posture, breathing, thoughts, and so forth. But once you relax, you have the shamatha. You have to have the shamatha. It automatically, organically becomes vipassana because you're so relaxed and you're going out and it's out. Because the minute you come in, what's happening? Thoughts. So going out, constantly going out into space dissolving out into space. It's like you go out, dissolve, gap. Breath comes in, out, dissolve, gap. Now your awareness is out. And so Vipassana is when it's not just that you've got your body together and you're doing your meditation practice, but now your awareness has expanded to not only you and your body doing meditation, but now all of a sudden your awareness is out there in space and your awareness encompasses the entire room wherever you are. So now your awareness is like you're out in space. You live in space. You're out there.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess for me, the minute the minute that you said, "Don't think about the in-breath," during the whole thing, I couldn't. It was
You
like
could,
that's what I was doing, thinking about the in-breath, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh, please."
no, no,
So
just relax. Just relax.
I,
You don't try
yeah,
to, yeah, yeah. So,
I
so
know
much,
I was trying to let it go, but the more I tried to let it go, the more I was
the more it
thinking
was
about the
there.
in-breath.
Yes.
Oh, is there a way to work with that? I
Just
guess I just
relax
have to,
more.
yeah,
Just
just
relax,
relax.
let go.
Okay, thank you.
Relax, let go. Just even forget the instructions. Just let go and just go out with the out breath and don't pay any more, don't give it because now you're trying to do something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so the minute you're trying, guess who's trying? I am trying to do this right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Relax, let go. And if and you'll find that after a while you get tired of trying and you'll just
Yeah,
let go automatically and it will, and that's fine, that's okay. You shouldn't be saying, "Oh, you're bad, you're not doing it, you need to be doing that." No, 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 no. Just recognize that that's what's going on and relax. Free the moment because the more you think about it, the more tied into it you are.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Mm. It's all a learning experience, isn't it?
It's like that's why teachers are so precious. I think of my gurus and so on, and I think if they hadn't taught me, or um, I wouldn't know any of this. It's like, um, in a sense, I'm so grateful to them, and I can see when I interact with them, I can see how much progress I've made if I've made any progress. I'm so respectful of they are so amazing. They're just so amazing to watch them, and especially Trinket, well, all of them. Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche was, I don't know if you know him or not, but he was my retreat master in 3-year retreat. And oh my goodness, I learned so much from just being in his presence without him saying anything. And Trungpa Rinpoche said the same thing. He says he can tell a person's awareness by them just opening a door. How you move, how you walk, how you can tell right away whether people are present or they're into their own minds with their stuff, whatever's
Yeah.
going on. Yeah.
I was fortunate at one point to meet Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche. He came to California and with our group, and it was remarkable to meet him. He's so lovely.
He is amazing. He was just amazing. I've learned, we each have our own faults depending on your particular Buddhist style family, Buddha family that you belong to. And for me, I have to work on patience. And
Mm.
he was so patient.
Mm,
It was just wonderful to just be in his presence. Yeah.
that's true.
Mm.
Okay. Jody, I think we're done.
Okay. We should do a dedication of merit. We should do that, Okay, so we should. By this merit may all obtain omniscience, may it defeat the enemy wrongdoing from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death from the ocean of samsara. May I free all beings. By the confidence of the golden sun of the great east, may the lotus garden of the Rigdon's wisdom bloom. May the dark ignorance of sentient beings be dispelled. May all beings enjoy profound, brilliant glory. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Lama Rina. We'll
thank
see you
you.
next month. Thank you
Okay,
so
take
much.
care.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Thank you
night.
for coming.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.